The courtroom became quiet as the video commenced, displaying grainy footage that conveyed more than mere words could express. Shortly thereafter, Diddy's twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah, stood up from their seats, visibly distressed, and exited without uttering a single word. Although cameras did not follow them, reporters murmured, they appeared pale and ashamed. The footage was not only graphic but also incriminating, referred to as freak-off, a term used by Cassie Ventura to describe the most troubling aspects of her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. What initially started as mere rumors has now escalated into federal testimony, substantial evidence, and shocked expressions in the gallery. This situation transcends a typical celebrity scandal. It represents a significant courtroom reckoning. From menacing text messages to startling surveillance footage, the Diddy trial is dismantling years of silence. Even his own family finds it unbearable to witness. The information about to be revealed may alter your perception of him indefinitely. As the lights dimmed and the prosecution sought the courtroom's attention, it was evident that something of great importance was imminent. However, no one was ready for what ensued. The judge granted a motion to present a piece of evidence that had long been the subject of hushed discussions but never publicly acknowledged. A video titled Freak Off 2013, filmed in a Miami penthouse, was introduced. Prosecutors had cautioned about its graphic nature, and defense attorneys made every effort to prevent its showing, yet the judge favored transparency. A partial blackout was mandated in the courtroom, and cameras were turned off. The audience permitted to view the proceedings consisted solely of the jury, legal representatives, Diddy, and a select group of observers, including members of Diddy's family. As the video commenced, Cassie Ventura, the principal witness for the prosecution, sat quietly near the jury box, displaying no signs of distress. In stark contrast, Diddy's demeanor shifted noticeably. The arrogance he had previously exhibited was replaced by a slight slouch, his gaze fixed intently on the screen, and his hands tightly clasped. Approximately midway through the footage, his daughters, Jessie and Delilah, rose from their seats. Eyewitness accounts indicate that one of them whispered, "No, I can't," before exiting the room. Their expressions were stoic yet visibly pained. Outside the courthouse, reporters documented their departure, accompanied by aides and security personnel, as they declined to make any statements. Although the video was not fully detailed in the court documents, significant moments were summarized. Cassie was seen with an unidentified individual in what prosecutors characterized as a carefully orchestrated scenario, with Diddy's voice allegedly heard off-camera issuing instructions. Despite much of the footage being obscured or redacted, its emotional weight was unmistakable. Several jurors appeared visibly shaken, with one reportedly wiping away tears and another staring ahead with a clenched jaw. This was not merely sensational material, it constituted evidence. Evidence of control, psychological dominance, and, crucially, validation of Cassie's claims. The timing of the video, her age, and the production-like quality all corroborated her earlier testimony. As the screen faded to black, the courtroom remained silent, devoid of murmurs or whispers, save for the judge's directive for a 15-minute recess. When Cassie took the stand, it was evident that the proceedings would be challenging for her and all present. She entered with composure, 8 months pregnant, placing her coat aside and turning slightly to address the jury. During her testimony, she frequently caressed her abdomen, a subtle yet significant gesture. She was not merely recounting her trauma, she was also safeguarding a new life while narrating her painful experiences. She recounted to the court the moment Diddy first used the term freak off. At the age of 21, she was uncertain of its meaning. He characterized it as voyeurism, claiming it would enhance their relationship. What initially appeared romantic soon devolved into a situation of control. He dictated her attire, her words, and even her drug use. She presented messages from his Louis Vuitton bag, asking in one, which color pill, to which he responded, "The green one." Cassie testified that these freak-offs were not spontaneous, they were meticulously planned and choreographed, involving lighting, costumes, camera angles, and, most disturbingly, participants, many of whom she indicated were escorts, sometimes hired by her due to her fear of the consequences of refusal. "I complied because I believed I loved him, because I feared provoking his anger," and because I had lost the ability to say no, she stated in court. When questioned about her emotional state during those years, she confessed to feeling devoid of worth. There were moments when I would gaze into the mirror and fail to recognize the person I had become, she remarked. When the prosecution directly inquired if she ever wished to participate in the freak-offs, she hesitated before responding. At times, yes, as it allowed her to be with him, but she never desired the accompanying pressure or fear. Meanwhile, Diddy appeared to be unraveling. Several courtroom observers noted that he began scribbling on a yellow notepad and shaking his leg beneath the table. At one moment, he leaned towards his lawyer and quietly communicated something while gesturing towards Cassie. His complexion was ashen. The individual who was once regarded as the life of the gathering now appeared as if he had just received a mental sentence. The defense attempted to assert that everything was consensual, arguing that Cassie found pleasure in the relationship, was involved in recruiting others, and never uttered the word no. However, the prosecution responded with, "What are the consequences for a woman who understands what saying no might entail?" As the jury contemplated Cassie's harrowing testimony, Diddy's family maintained a stoic demeanor until they could no longer do so. His mother, Janice Camolms, held a rosary tightly, her eyes closed. His sons, King and Justin, refrained from making eye contact with their father, instead staring straight ahead with their arms crossed, occasionally stealing glances at the jury's responses. In contrast, his daughters, Jessie and Delilah, both just 17, appeared particularly disturbed. Until this point, they had exhibited a calm exterior, but witnessing that video and the harsh reality it depicted shattered something within them. Following their departure, speculation arose regarding the potential revelation of more family secrets. The prosecution alluded to this by posing inquiries about Diddy's former partner, Kim Porter. Cassie recounted that Diddy instructed her to keep their relationship private for the sake of his children and to spare Kim's feelings. Cassie alleged that Diddy's relationship with Kim coincided with hers. Although we kept our relationship private for an extended period, he was still involved with Kim, and we were both aware of it. He ensured that we both understood the situation, which led to even more troubling developments. Cassie recounted an incident where Kim confronted Diddy regarding his actions, and shortly thereafter, Kim was hospitalized. Diddy instructed me to remain silent, assuring me that she was fine. However, Kim Porter's subsequent death years later raised further inquiries. Officially, her cause of death was pneumonia, yet many, including Albee, Kim's ex and the father of Quincy, believe her passing warrants further investigation. In court, prosecutors presented messages in which Cassie expressed her fear of ending up like Kim, explaining that her knowledge of too much was the reason for her concern, and Diddy was aware of her awareness. The courtroom fell silent as Cassie's testimony revealed deeper layers of the so-called freak-offs. It was not solely Diddy. Cassie indicated that a comprehensive support system was involved, naming individuals such as David James, Christina Karoram, various assistants, travel agents, and private security firms. They were not merely observers, she asserted, they were actively facilitating the situation. One of the most incriminating aspects of her testimony was her account of how Diddy monitored her. Although he lived nearby, if I failed to respond, he would dispatch someone to check on me, sometimes security personnel, sometimes Christina. If I did not reply within an hour, someone would appear at my door. This assertion startled the courtroom, as it corroborated the prosecutor's insinuations made during the opening statements, indicating that Diddy's influence extended beyond emotional manipulation to a level of surveillance. She claimed that Diddy had access to her phone, her location, and even her private messages. When she attempted to have a friend visit, that friend never arrived, as Diddy had warned her against it, though I did not inquire about the method. When the prosecutor inquired if she feared for her safety, Cassie responded without hesitation. She expressed her concern daily, stating, "However, I was also worried for her." The system that Diddy purportedly established was characterized not as an unplanned occurrence, but as a calculated operation. It involved travel documents, counterfeit reservations, and escort listings. At times, we would refer to them as new stylists or dancers, whatever was necessary to facilitate their travel. Cassie mentioned that the trips covered various cities, including Miami, Los Angeles, New York, and Ibiza. Each journey involved a new destination but followed the same pattern of drugs, attire, lighting arrangements, and the overall scene. The courtroom remained still as she recounted these sessions, which lasted between 36 to 72 hours, with the longest extending to 4 consecutive days. There was no sleep, only pills and instructions.